Listen to me, you can't expect your life to make sense on the outside when you're a mess on the inside. Too many of you are trying to fix the symptoms without fixing the root. You're changing jobs, changing relationships, changing cities, but you're not changing you. You think a new environment is going to magically solve old problems, but the truth is, you bring yourself everywhere you go. If you're disorganized mentally, if your mindset is all over the place, if you haven't dealt with your insecurities or your lack of discipline, then every environment you step into is going to eventually reflect that chaos. You've got to stop trying to decorate the outside of the house when the foundation is cracking. You can have the nicest paint, the most beautiful furniture, but if the ground underneath is unstable, it's just a matter of time before it all falls apart. That's your life right now. You're working on the image, the Instagram version of yourself, the version you show to the world, but when the door's close and you're alone, you know there's confusion, there's doubt, there's habits that keep pulling you backwards. And until you address that, nothing permanent is going to change. The first battle you need to win is not out there in the marketplace. It's not against some competitor. It's not against the person you think is standing in your way. The first battle is right here in your head, in your heart, in your daily habits. It's the battle to master your emotions so they don't control you, to discipline your actions so you're consistent, to train your thoughts so they're working for you and not against you. And let's be real, that's not easy. It's much easier to blame your circumstances, to point the finger at your boss, at your parents, at the economy. It's easier to say, if I just had this opportunity, if I just lived over there, if I just knew the right people. No, that's an excuse to avoid looking in the mirror. You can't skip the internal work. You can't build skyscraper success on a shack foundation. Think about it, a storm hits, and two houses are standing side by side. One collapses, one stands tall. Was it the storm's fault? No, because the same storm hit both. The difference was in the foundation. Life is going to hit you with storms. That's guaranteed. You're going to face setbacks, betrayals, disappointments, unexpected losses. But if you've done the work to strengthen yourself internally, you might bend, but you won't break. And that's the difference between people who survive and people who get washed away by life. You've got to start asking yourself hard questions. What's really going on inside me that's keeping me stuck? Is it fear? Is it laziness? Is it the need for approval? Is it that I've been lying to myself about how consistent I've been? Because once you get honest about that, once you face the truth without sugarcoating it, you can finally start to fix it. You can't heal what you refuse to acknowledge. But don't just think this is about fixing problems. This is also about sharpening your strengths. It's about building mental clarity so when opportunities come, you're ready. It's about developing emotional stability so you're not making decisions out of desperation or impulse. It's about creating habits that turn into momentum so you're not starting over every month. That's what mastery of your inner world looks like. And here's the thing, when you work on yourself internally, it starts showing externally whether you realize it or not. People can feel it. They can see that confidence that doesn't come from arrogance, but from preparation. They notice the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you move through challenges without falling apart. That's the kind of energy that attracts opportunity. That's the kind of presence that makes people want to work with you, trust you, invest in you. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily grind. It's waking up early when your body wants to sleep. It's reading the books instead of scrolling social media. It's saying no to the distractions that feel good now but cost you later. It's controlling your emotions when someone pushes your buttons. It's not glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy most days. But those small, consistent, unseen battles, that's what turns into a life that looks effortless on the outside because it's solid on the inside. Some of you are waiting for the right time to work on yourself. Let me tell you, the right time is now. You can't wait until you have more money, more time, more energy, because those things aren't coming until you change yourself first. Your circumstances are a reflection of your internal condition. You can't expect abundance to show up in your life when your mindset is stuck in scarcity. You can't expect opportunities to stick if your habits can't handle them. So stop treating the symptoms, stop chasing quick fixes, stop thinking if you just get there, everything will fall into place. Get yourself together first, and you'll be shocked at how fast the outside starts catching up. When you master your inner world, you don't have to force everything to happen. You align yourself so that everything naturally starts to happen. And that's when you realize it was never the world holding you back. It was you, and now it's you that's going to set yourself free. You've got to understand something. The moment you make your life about competing with other people, you lose sight of the only race that actually matters, the one against the person you were yesterday. Too many of you are burning your energy looking left and right, seeing what everybody else is doing, counting their wins, comparing their numbers, measuring their timeline against yours. And you don't even realize that every second you spend doing that, you're taking away from the time you could have been using to build something that's truly yours. When you're focused on outdoing someone else, you're not creating from your heart. You're reacting. You're letting them set the pace for your life. If they slow down, you slow down. If they speed up, you panic and rush. That's not leadership. That's following in disguise. And that's why you feel like you're always behind, because you're running someone else's race on someone else's track with someone else's goals in mind. You've got to take your eyes off them and put them back where they belong, on your own lane, your own work, your own purpose. The truth is, you don't even know the full story of the people you're comparing yourself to. You're looking at the highlight reel, the polished product, the social media version, but you don't see the debt, the sacrifices, the nights they almost quit, the help they had that you don't, or the struggles they're still hiding. And yet, you're judging yourself like you've failed just because your journey doesn't look like theirs. I'm telling you, that's a trap, because no matter how much you win, in that game, there's always going to be somebody doing more, somebody ahead, somebody with a bigger platform or a shinier trophy. And if that's where your validation comes from, you're never going to be satisfied. You're going to keep chasing, keep running, and no matter how fast you go, it's not going to feel like enough. But the moment you flip that mindset, the moment you stop competing and start creating, everything changes. Now, it's not about what they're doing, it's about what you can build. It's about what ideas you can bring to life, what skills you can sharpen, what impact you can make. Now your motivation isn't to prove someone wrong, it's to prove yourself right. It's to see how far you can go when you're not distracted by their scoreboard. And let me tell you, when you're in that zone, you move different. You stop rushing. You stop panicking. You start being patient with your process, because you're not trying to match somebody else's timeline. You're not afraid to take risks because you're not worried about looking foolish in front of them. You're not afraid to slow down and get it right because you're not trying to impress them with speed. You start thinking long term, building something solid instead of chasing quick wins just to post about it. Here's the truth: the greatest breakthroughs, the biggest moves you can make, they happen when you're not even looking at the competition. They happen when you're locked in, fully immersed in what you're building, to the point where you don't even notice what anyone else is doing. You're not thinking, how do I beat them? You're thinking, how do I become the best version of me? That's when creativity flows. That's when originality shows up. That's when your work stands out, not because you tried to make it different, but because it's a pure reflection of you. And the irony is, when you stop worrying about competition, that's usually when you surpass it. Because while they're busy watching each other, you're busy moving forward. While they're trying to copy each other's moves, you're creating something they can't copy because it's uniquely yours. You become unpredictable, untouchable, because you're not playing their game anymore. I get it, competition feels natural. We grew up with it. Sports, grades, promotions, awards, the world taught us to measure ourselves against others. And competition can push you in the short term, sure. But if you live your whole life that way, it will burn you out, drain your joy, and keep you stuck in a cycle of comparison. You've got to evolve past that. You've got to graduate from competing with others to competing with yourself. So instead of asking, am I ahead of them? Start asking, am I ahead of who I was last month, last year, last season of my life? If the answer is yes, you're winning. If the answer is no, then the only person you need to beat is the one in the mirror. And that's a battle you can fight every single day without wasting a drop of energy on someone else's progress. This is why self-focus is so powerful. Because when you're locked in on your own growth, there's no ceiling. There's no finish line where you stop. There's always another level you can reach, another skill you can master, another way to expand your capacity. And that's what makes life exciting, knowing you can keep becoming more without it depending on who's ahead or behind. Some of you need to get back to that place where it's just you and the work. No audience, no scoreboard, no pressure to match anybody, just pure focus, pure effort, pure commitment to the craft. Because when you do that, the results take care of themselves. The opportunities show up, the recognition shows up, and here's the best part: even if they don't, you still win because you've grown, you've evolved, and you've built something real. Stop letting comparison steal your focus. Stop letting competition dictate your moves. Build your life in such a way that the only thing you're chasing is the person you're capable of becoming. And once you start moving like that, you'll realize you were never behind, you were just looking in the wrong direction. Your energy is everything. It's your currency. It's the fuel that determines how far you can go, how much you can build, and how fast you can recover when life knocks you down. But here's the problem: some of you are leaking energy all day long without even realizing it. You wake up tired, not because your body can't rest, but because your mind and spirit are weighed down by things that have no business having access to you. You've got people pulling at you, problems that aren't yours to solve, arguments that aren't worth engaging in, and distractions that feel harmless in the moment but are robbing you blind over time. You have to start treating your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Every goal you have, every dream you're chasing, every obstacle you need to overcome requires energy. And if you give it all away to nonsense, you won't have anything left for the things that actually matter. Think about it. How many times have you had a plan for the day, a vision for the week, a list of goals to hit, and you let someone else's drama, someone else's bad mood, or some random distraction completely throw you off? By the time you realize it, hours are gone, your focus is gone, and you're frustrated not because you didn't want it bad enough, but because you didn't guard your energy. I'm telling you, not everybody deserves access to you. Not every conversation needs your reply. Not every problem needs your involvement. You've got to learn the difference between what's urgent and what's important, because most of what's urgent in other people's lives is just a distraction in yours. And if you keep letting them dump that weight on you, you'll be carrying so much of their load that you can't even move forward with your own. Some of you are not tired from working on your dreams, you're tired from carrying dead weight. You're drained because you're entertaining gossip, scrolling through negativity, arguing online with strangers you'll never meet, or trying to convince people to believe in you when they're committed to misunderstanding you. That's energy you could have spent on sharpening your skills, building your vision, or taking care of your health. And here's the truth: if you don't decide what's worth your energy, the world will decide for you. You have to set boundaries, and not just the kind you post about, the kind you actually enforce. Boundaries are not about being cold, they're about being clear. They're about saying, this is what I'm available for, this is what I'm not, this is what I'll allow, this is what I won't. And then sticking to it, even if people get mad, even if they don't understand. Because your dreams are too expensive to be funded with cheap energy. And let's talk about the environments you're putting yourself in. Your surroundings can either fuel you or drain you. And if you're serious about winning, you've got to be intentional about where you spend your time and who you spend it with. If you're around people who are always complaining, always doubting, always making excuses, don't be surprised when that energy seeps into you. Negativity is contagious, but so is excellence, so is discipline, so is passion. And the more you surround yourself with people who are moving, growing, and pushing themselves, the more you'll naturally rise to that level without even trying. Protecting your energy also means protecting your focus. The modern world is built to distract you: notifications, news alerts, endless scrolling, the constant pressure to respond instantly to everything. But you have to remember, just because something demands your attention doesn't mean it deserves it. You have to train yourself to pause and ask, does this move me forward? Does this align with my purpose? Or is this just pulling me away from it? If the answer doesn't serve you, you've got to have the discipline to let it go. And don't forget, protecting your energy isn't just about what you avoid, it's also about what you create. It's about building habits and routines that refill you, that keep you sharp, that keep you motivated. That might mean taking care of your health, making time for silence, feeding your mind with things that inspire you instead of drain you, or simply learning to say no without guilt. Every no to what drains you is a yes to what fuels you. I know some of you think, but if I pull back, I'll lose people. They'll think I've changed. Let them, because you have changed, or at least you're supposed to. You're not meant to be the same person you were when you tolerated everything and let everyone walk in and out of your life with no filter. Growth requires you to level up your standards, and that means not everyone can come with you. And that's okay. When you start guarding your energy, something amazing happens. You stop feeling burnt out all the time. You start making clearer decisions. You start moving with more purpose. You start feeling lighter because you're not carrying everybody else's baggage. You have more to give to the things and people that truly matter because you're not wasting it on things that don't. And in that space, in that clarity, you find momentum, the kind that pushes you further in a month than you used to move in a year. But it all starts with you making the choice. Nobody's going to do it for you. In fact, the people who benefit from your lack of boundaries will fight the hardest when you set them. But if you want to build the life you say you want, you've got to be willing to disappoint some people in order to not disappoint yourself. Your energy is your life force. Waste it on the wrong things, and you'll never have enough left for the right things. Protect it, and you'll find out just how far you can really go. Too many people are chasing the job, chasing the money, chasing the relationship, chasing recognition, chasing approval, and they don't even realize that the more you chase, the more it runs. The more you force it, the more it slips through your fingers. But the game changes the moment you stop chasing and start becoming. When you focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts the things you want, you don't have to beg for opportunities. You don't have to force people to see your value. They see it without you saying a word. The problem is, most people want the result without becoming the person required to sustain it. You want the promotion, but you haven't developed the discipline to handle the responsibilities that come with it. You want the relationship, but you haven't done the work to heal from the last one or to grow into someone who can give and receive love in a healthy way. You want the money, but your habits show you'd lose it as fast as you got it. And because you're focused on getting instead of becoming, you keep running in circles. The truth is, you attract what you are ready for. Life has a way of matching you with the level you operate at. If you're inconsistent, you're going to attract inconsistent opportunities. If you're unprepared, you're going to attract situations that fall apart. But if you're disciplined, if you're sharp, if you're reliable, if you're prepared, you create a magnetic pull for people, resources, and doors that align with that version of you. This is why you can't just wish for it. You've got to work for it. Not just work on the thing you want, but work on the version of you that can handle it when it comes. You can't pray for a bigger platform if you're not ready for the weight of responsibility that comes with influence. You can't ask for more money if you're not a good steward over the little you have now. You can't expect a healthy relationship if you haven't addressed the parts of yourself that sabotage connection. So stop thinking in terms of how do I get it, and start thinking in terms of how do I become it. If you want success, become disciplined, consistent, and solution-focused. If you want respect, carry yourself with integrity and excellence in everything you do. If you want opportunities, develop the skills and habits that make you the obvious choice when they show up. When you focus on becoming, you don't just prepare for the blessing, you become the kind of person who can multiply it when it arrives. And here's the beauty when you operate this way. You don't have to force relationships or situations. You stop begging people to stay in your life. You stop trying to convince anyone of your worth. You stop feeling desperate because you know that what's for you will recognize you when it sees you. And if it doesn't, that's not your loss. That's simply something that wasn't aligned with the version of you you're building. But let me be real, becoming is hard. It means confronting your flaws instead of pretending they don't exist. It means showing up consistently when nobody's clapping. It means letting go of old habits, old circles, old versions of yourself that you might still be attached to. It means doing the boring, repetitive, unglamorous work every single day. But that's what growth feels like. It's not supposed to be comfortable, it's supposed to be transformational. You can't shortcut becoming. You can't fake it for long. Eventually, who you really are will show up, and if you haven't done the work, it will cost you everything you gained. That's why so many people get what they thought they wanted and still feel empty, or lose it because they weren't ready to hold it. Preparation isn't punishment, it's protection. It's life making sure you have the character, the strength, and the capacity to sustain the things you're asking for. And the crazy part is, when you commit to becoming, the chase stops feeling necessary. You stop obsessing over when it's going to happen, or how it's going to happen. You're so locked in on building yourself that time becomes irrelevant. You're not sitting around wondering if it's coming, you're moving like it's already on the way, and you're making sure you'll be ready when it knocks on your door. That kind of energy is powerful. It's confident without arrogance. It's attractive without being desperate. It's steady, unshakable, magnetic. So the question you've got to ask yourself is not, what do I want? But who do I need to become so that what I want becomes inevitable? Because when you become that person, things fall into place. The right people show up. The right opportunities find you. The right doors open not because you forced them, but because you were the right fit for them all along. Stop chasing. Start becoming. Because when you become, you won't have to go looking for it. It will come looking for you.